Hello everyone, Jai Hind and welcome to the platform of StudyIQIAS in English, and my name is Bhanwarsingh. I'm extending 115th course, and in these current affairs revision we are going through the complete things, the complete current affairs which are important for your upcoming UPSC Prelims 2026. And in today's session we'll be discussing the important places which had been in news when it comes to the places which are very important. All right, just give me a second, and then we will be starting off the first place that had been in news, and it is also very important. All right, so we'll be going through it, and again, these places are very important because we have seen that in the prelims, in the preliminary examination of the UPSC, you might find that there are the questions which had been asked about the places which had been in news. Now, moving ahead to the first of the place that had been news. It is basically, we all know about it. This is the Strait of Hormuz. Now, when it comes to Strait of Hormuz, it is a narrow waterway that connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman. Please note over here that it connects Persian Gulf with Gulf of Oman. All right, again, very important where the UPSC may trap you. It is bounded by Iran, which is there in the north, along with the Musandam Peninsula. Please remember this, Musandam Peninsula, where it is located, it is in Oman to the south. And again, when it comes to the sea passage, so this is the only sea passage from the Persian Gulf that opens to the open ocean. Now, since the late February 2026, the US and Israel, they have been engaged in a war with the Iran, and that is why the Strait of Hormuz, it becomes important for your prelims. All right, so over here you can see that this is the Strait of Hormuz. All right, this is Strait of Hormuz. Also, you can see that Bandar Abbas, that is a prominent port of Iran, that is located just over here. All right, as well as you can see that there is Oman, as well as we have UAE, and again, when it comes to the West Asia, the complete West Asia becomes very important for your upcoming prelims. All right, so this is Strait of Hormuz. This is Kashmir Island, as well as you can see Kish Island, Lawan Island as well on the screen. All right, so this is the Musandam Peninsula that is there because it is surrounded by water from the three sides, and this is the Oman. All right, or it comes under the Oman. All right, you can see over here again, these are important. These are the islands which are located in the region. All right, when it comes to these islands, so these are important islands. Again, UPSC may ask you about arranging them moving forward from west to east or to east to west. All right, so you must remember the sequence as well. All right, we have Lawan here, we have Shidwar, then there is Handurabi, then Kish Island, then there is Farurgan, Siri Island, Abu Musa, Farur, the lesser and the greater Tunb Islands which are located here. Then there is Hengam, Kashmir Island, and Larak and Hormuz Island as well. So these are the important islands which are located here, and they are under Iran, and as well as there is Kharg Island and Kharko Island and even Farsi Island. These are the important islands in the region. Again, important for your upcoming prelims. Now, when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, it is a prominent choke point that is there. All right, the choke point from where a prominent trade when it comes to the international trade that happens. So ultimately, again, your UPSC may link the Strait of Hormuz to the important choke points which are there. You can see that these are the important the choke points. We have Strait of Gibraltar. The Strait of Gibraltar, it connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. Then we have Suez Canal as well, Bab al-Mandeb. There are Turkish straits which are there, and then this is Strait of Hormuz that we are discussing as the first important place that is in the news. All right, 30% of all the oil is traded through the Strait of Hormuz. Then there is Cape of Good Hope as well. All right, there is Strait of Malacca. Again, very important because when it comes to the all traded goods in the globe, so there is 25% of the trade that happens through Strait of Malacca. All right, there are northern passages as well, like the Bering Strait, which lies between the Alaska and the Russian territory, or the Kamchatka Peninsula. We have over here Kamchatka Peninsula, and here this is Alaska. And also Panama Canal is also very important choke point when it comes to the global choke points which are there. So this is the first place that had been in news. The next important place that was in the news is Juan de Fuca plate. Now this Juan de Fuca plate is a minor plate. Alright, when it comes to the plate tectonics, so the complete earth is divided into various plates, and we have minor as well as major plate. Juan de Fuca is a minor plate that is there, and a small tectonic plate which is located between North American plate and the Pacific plate that is there. Alright, so you must know where it is located between North American and the Pacific plate of the coast of the northern Oregon and Washington. Now, also it derives the Pacific Northwest Cascadia subduction zone. And why it had been in news? Because in April 2026, the seismologists, they have revealed that the Juan de Fuca plate is not descending as one intact slab, but it is basically falling apart into the different fragments as it is sinking into the mantle. So there are different fragments of the plate that are sinking into the mantle, and then this is a very important discovery which had been made. Now over here, these are the important plates that you can see. We have the major plates. There are total 7 of the major plates which are there. The first one over here is North American plate. Then we have South American plate as well. Then third is African plate. The fourth major plate is the Eurasian plate. And then comes Indo-Australian plate, which is again a very important plate. Indo-Australian plate, this is single plate. Then we have Pacific plate and the Antarctic plate that is there. So in total, there are 7 major plates which are there. Alright. Along with this, when it comes to the minor plates, again you have to note them over here. Juan de Fuca plate, this is where the Juan de Fuca plate is located. Alright, we have Cocos plate as well. There is Caribbean plate. Alright, Nazca plate. These are the minor plates that are there, along with Scotia plate that you can see, and also Arabian plate is a small or the minor plate that is there, along with the Philippine Sea plate that is there. So again, these are the important minor plates which are there. There are total 7 of the major plates. Please remember, there are 7 major and total 21 minor plates on which or through which the complete earth is divided. And these plates, they are in a constant motion. That is what we call as the plate tectonics. Right? Moving ahead to the next important place that had been in news, it is the Agalega Islands which are there in the Mauritius. Now when it comes to Agalega Islands, basically they are pair of islands. There is 2 of the islands which are there, North Agalega as well as South Agalega Islands. They are located nearly about 1,100 km north of Mauritius and south of Seychelles Island in the Indian Ocean. Now, why they had been in news? Because in late 2025, India had operationalized a maritime support base at the Agalega base, including an extended airship and even a jetty to monitor the Southwest Indian Ocean and also to improve the maritime domain awareness as well. So over here you can see these islands. All right, on the map you can see that these are the islands. We have Seychelles Island, then there is Maldives Island, there is Assumption Island as well, and here lies Agalega Islands. This is Diogo Garcia, which is under the control of UK, and also we have Mauritius along with Madagascar. So these are the prominent islands which are there in the Indian Ocean, as well as when it comes to the Indian presence in the Indian Ocean. So India has signed the MOU or the Memorandum of Understanding with Seychelles as well to build the airstrip and docking facility. There is a listening point that is there at Madagascar, and with Mauritius as well we have a MOU to build the docking facility as well as to build the airstrip as well. Alright, the next important place that had been in news is basically this is Chahabar port that is there, and we have Shahid Beheshti terminal that is located at Chahabar port. Now again, Chahabar port is important because Iran had been in news, and also when it comes to Chahabar port, it is located on the Makran coast in the Sistan Baluchistan province of Iran at the mouth of Gulf of Oman. Alright, at the same time there had been US sanctions. The US sanctions waiver were there for the India's involvement in the Chahabar, but they have expired on 26th of April 2026, and that is why this Chahabar Port or Shahid Beheshti Terminal is important for your upcoming prelims. All right. At the same time, amidst the US-Iran war, India is considering transferring its operational stakes to a local Iranian entity so that India can avoid the secondary sanctions while preserving the complete strategic access to the Chahabar port as well. All right, so this is where the Chahabar port is located. You can see that this is Chahabar port. All right, and as well as when this comes to Chahabar port, it is very important for the connection that India has or Mumbai has, or even the Kandla port it will have towards the St. Petersburg. So this is the complete, we have Chahabar port. Along with this, there is Bandar Abbas again in Iran, then Bandar A Anzali. This will connect to Astrakhan towards or through the Caspian Sea. This is where we have the Caspian Sea, and then it will get connected to the St. Petersburg, that is in Russia. All right, so again, this is very important because this is the direct, when it comes to the Chahabar port, Kandla or the Mumbai, it is connected to the Chahabar port, and then it also, opens up the complete trade route towards Afghanistan as well. All right, when it comes to the Chahabar port, so from Chahabar port, there is Zahedan, then there is Zaranj, and it connects to Kabul or in Afghanistan. There is complete, the road or the, you can say that the complete infrastructure towards the land route is from Zaranj to Daliram, that is being, or it has been constructed for improving the connectivity of India with Afghanistan. Now coming to the next important place that had been in news, it is IMEC corridor or IMEC corridor, where we have two of the important nodes, that is Haifa and Piraeus nodes, which are there on this particular corridor that is there. Now this corridor is important because it is very important for the connectivity of India to the Middle East as well as Europe. So IMEC, it stands for India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, which links India to the Europe. And this complete corridor, it passes through UAE, Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Israel as well. Now despite that the Gaza and the Hormuz conflict are there, IMEC or the IMEC have received a new lease of the life in the early 2026 with long-awaited India and EU trade deal that had been struck, and infrastructure construction have started across the Gulf region as well. So again, IMEC corridor is very important when it comes to the UPSC. You can see that it will connect Mumbai. Mumbai will be connected to the Dubai or Jebel Ali, and this is the sea route. Then there is the complete land route that you can see that will connect Dubai to the Al Gafayat, then to Harad, and ultimately to Riyadh and Al Harita as well. Now from here there is Haifa, and again Haifa will be connected to Piraeus, and then it will get connected to the Europe. So this is IMEC corridor, again very important for the economic prosperity of India and for the trade relations that India has with EU. And the recent, again it becomes important because of the recent EU-India free trade agreement as well. Now coming to the next important place that had been in news is Turkana Rift, which is there in Africa. And there is a breakup that is happening in Turkana Rift. It is located in Turkana region in east of Africa, and it is part of the wider East African rift system that is there. Now scientists, they have discovered in April 2026 that the Earth's crust that is beneath the Turkana Rift, it is thinning to a critical necking point. And this indicates that Africa is closer to splitting apart into two continents, that is, will have the Nubian and the Somalian plates than previously it had been modeled. So again, this rift system, it is very important, and we have seen UPSC asking about the lakes which are located in the rift system as well. So you can see over here, this is the complete East Africa rift system that is there. All right, this is complete East African rift system that is there. There is this Nubian plate, there is Somalian plate as well, there is Victorian plate and Rovuma plate, of which this complete rift system is made up of. All right, and at the same time, when it comes to the various lakes which are located in the African rift system, you can see that we have Lake Turkana. very important. Then we have Lake Kyoga, there is Lake Victoria as well. Then we have Lake Albert, Lake Edward, Lake Kiu, which is located. We have the longest lake of the globe, that is Lake Tanganyika. We have Lake Rukwa, Lake Malawi as well. Then we have Lake Chiuta and Lake Chilwa, that is located in the complete Rift Valley system. And we have Lake Meru. Along with this, in the north, you will see that Lake Tana is there. We have Galla Lakes, Lake Abaya and Lake Shamu as well, which is located in the complete rift system, along with various lakes which are there in Kenya as well. So again, this is very important because in the past, UPSC have asked the questions related to the lakes which are there in the African rift system or rift valley that is there. Now, there is the divergence of the plates that you can see, and that is creating this rift system that is there. That is, the complete rift system is made up of the divergent plates. Now, moving to the next important the place that had been in news is the Turkana Lake. Now, when it comes to the Turkana Lake, it is located basically in Kenya's Great African Rift Valley with the northern tip that extends into Ethiopia. And this is recognized as the world's largest permanent desert lake as well. Also, it is the world's largest alkaline lake, and that is why this is very important. Now, this is known locally as the Jade Sea because of its color. It has a color of turquoise green color, and that is why it is called as Jade Sea as well. It is crucial for the ecological and even paleoanthropological site as well. And this has been referred to as the cradle of the humankind because of the exceptional concentration of the early hominin fossils which had been found in its basin. And again, Lake Turkana becomes very important when it comes to the places which had been in use. So over here you can see Lake Turkana. Now, Lake Turkana is, you can see which all countries are there. This is Lake Turkana, and you can see that we have Kenya, and it extends into Ethiopia as well. The northern part, just a small part that extends into Ethiopia, and this is Lake Turkana, again important, which is located in the African rift system. Alright, coming to the next important news which had been, the place which had been in news is the Migla Pass in Ladakh. Now, very important, the question could be asked about it because when it comes to the highest motorable pass in India or the world, so it was the Umlingla Pass, but now it has been, changed by the Migla Pass. So this Migla Pass is located in the eastern Ladakh sector of the Indian Himalayas, and it is very close to the line of actual control that is between India and China. And in late 2025, BRO or Border Road Organization have opened this Migla Pass at the altitude of 19,400 feet, and it has surpassed the Umlingla to become the world's highest motorable pass. Again, very important for your upcoming examination. Alright, so over here you can see where Migla Pass is located. This is part of the Ligaru Migla or Phukche Road. Alright, so this is the complete road that connects the Ligaru along with Migla and the Phukche Road. This has been opened, and you can see where this is located. This is located very close to the Daulat Beg Oldie Road as well. Alright, and we have different, we have the Daulat Beg Oldie. This is the airport or the airstrip that is located here, very close to the LAC. Also, we have the Galwan region that is here. We have seen the skirmishes between the India and the Chinese troops. Also, we have Kongka La Pass. We have the hot springs as well. Pangong So Lake is also located here. We have Chushul sector, and even the Spangur Gap is located here. Alright, you can see Demchok and Chumar also on the map. So this is the region where we have the highest motorable pass of the world that is located. Now, coming to the next important place is Somaliland and also Berbera Port that is located. Now, when it comes to Somaliland, basically it is a self-declared autonomous state that is there in northwestern of the Horn of Africa, and it borders the Djibouti as well as Ethiopia and even Somalia as well. Now, Israel had become the first country to recognize the Somaliland in the early 2026, and it has also appointed the first ambassador to the Somaliland. Now this move is strategically very important because it is tied to securing the Bab al-Mandeb Strait and also countering the Houthi rebels which are there in the region, and that is why this is again very, very important. So over here you can see on the map where we have the Somaliland. So this is Somaliland, that is here, and this is the port of Berbera, that is here, and this port of Berbera, actually there is the land route that connects it to Addis Ababa as well. Alright, so again this is very important, and here you can see the Djibouti is also located. Alright, so this is Somaliland. Again you can see this is in the Horn of Africa, and here we have the Berbera port which is located. Alright, coming to the next important place that had been in news is the Nagorno-Karabakh region. And again, let me tell you that there had been already a PYQ that had been asked about this particular region. And again, this is a trend that UPSC follows, that if there had been any PYQ, it tries to reshape the question and ask the question again in the next prelims as well. So again, this becomes very important. And when it comes to Nagorno-Karabakh, so this is a landlocked mountainous region that is located in South Caucasus. This had been internationally recognized as the Azerbaijan territory, but again when it comes to, it was previously controlled by the ethnic Armenians which are here. Now there was a conflict escalations in 2024-25 where Azerbaijan had gained the total control of this particular region, and that had led to the dissolution of the self-declared or proclaimed Republic of Artsakh, and also massive displacement of the ethnic Armenians from this particular region. So this is where we have Nagorno-Karabakh. This is here. Alright. It was earlier that this region was controlled by the Armenians, but now this is in the control of Azerbaijan. Again, very important for your UPSC. Alright. Also here you can see this is where we have the Lesser Caucasus, and even we have the Caucasus region. So this is located over here. Alright, you can see that we have Azerbaijan, and also over here we have Armenia. So this is the Karabakh range, the Karabakh region that was there, and again it is under the Caucasus region that is there, and Caucasus are the mountain ranges which lies between the Black Sea as well as the Caspian Sea that is there. Alright, the next of the important place that was in the news, it is the Nizzarim and the Philadelphia corridors. Now, Nizzarim and the Philadelphia corridors, they had been in news. These corridors basically are where? Nizzarim is basically a horizontal military strip that divides, or it is dividing the Gaza Strip. And when it comes to Philadelphia corridor, it is a buffer zone that is between Gaza and Egypt. Again, very important for your upcoming prelims. Over here, the Israeli forces, they have fortified the Nizzarim corridor to divide Gaza into north and the south zone. Also, it had completed the takeover of the Philadelphia or the Murag axis to control any kind of involvement or the movement and smuggling that happens through the tunnels into Egypt, and that is why they had been in the news. So you can see over here where these corridors are located, there is the Nizzarim corridor, this complete corridor. It's Nizzarim. You can see its width as well. It is 6 kilometer wide, 6 kilometer long, and just 2 kilometer wide. Alright, at the same time, you can see over here, this is the Philadelphia corridor, which connects the Rafah with Egypt. Now, this had been closed, and ultimately, this had been taken care, or this has been taken over by the Israeli forces which are there. So, these are again very important, corridors when it comes to the places which had been in the news. Now, coming to the next important place, it is the Kursk and Belgorod. Now, Kursk and Belgorod, they are located in the Russia, all right, and they are the administrative regions which are there in Western Russia, and they border the Ukraine as well. In early 2026, the Ukrainian drone, they have they have targeted the Russian air bases which are located in Kursk and Belgorod region. All right, this is again under the Operation Spider's Web, and Kursk also saw that there had been significant cross-border incursion, marking a shift in the conflict's territorial scope. And also when it comes to the complete region, this has been drained by the Dnieper and the Don rivers. Very important river system, and also this region is known for the iron ore deposits and even the black earth agricultural belt. Now what is black earth? Black earth is basically the very fertile soil that that is there on the surface of the earth. These the soil, it is also called as molly soil. It is also called as molly soil, and this soil is basically found in the region where we have temperature, low temperature or the temperate zone, and there these molly soils or the black earth, the fertile you can say that these are the most fertile of the soil. They are found in this particular region. All right, so this is the region where we have both of the region. You can see over here that we have Belgorod. Along with Belgorod, we have Kursk, and they are just located or situated just at the border of the Ukraine as well. At the same time, there is Rostov as well as Tambov region as well, that is located in Russia. All right. Now, coming to the next important place which had been in news, it is the Point Nemo. Now, this is called as the oceanic pole as well. Point Nemo is basically located at the South Pacific Ocean, where at 48 degree 52.6 minutes south and 123 degree and 23.6 minute west as well. So this is the point which is farthest from any of the land part or land boundary that is there. And in 2025, very important, you must remember this, that the Indian Navy women officers in INSV Tarini, they have crossed the Point Nemo during a complete or global circumnavigation. As well as when it comes to the space agencies, they continue to use it as a graveyard or the spacecraft cemetery for deorbiting the for the deorbiting satellites, and also it is nutrient poor biological desert. And when it comes to the complete region, so it lies at 48 degrees. So this is the region where you will find the westerlies, that is the roaring 40s, and even there is the Coriolis effect that is very much higher in this region. All right, so this is Point Nemo that is there. This is Point Nemo, and when it comes to the the closest land, so closest land, it lies at about 2,700 kilometers. All right, that is Pitcairn and Motu Nui Islands, which are located over here. And Nemo actually means that no one in Latin. So that is why it is called as Point Nemo. And when it comes to the human presence or the closest human, so it is not the people which are there on the land. It is the people which are there in the International Space Station which are closer to Point Nemo as compared to the people which are there on the surface of the earth. Right? Now, coming to Jai Hind Tanmoy. Now, coming to the next important place that had been in news, it's GERD or Grand Ethiopian Reconnaissance Dam. Now, when it comes to GERD, again, it is very important. It had been in news and there were tensions about the dam because it is a gravity dam that had been constructed on Blue Nile River. All right, this dam is there in Ethiopia near the border with the Sudan, and Ethiopia have announced the final completion of the dam construction in late 2025. Now, this has remained a point of high tension because of the flow of the Blue Nile, and the tension is between the Ethiopia as well as Egypt and Sudan regarding the water rights during the filling periods, and thereby this had been in news. So this is where we have the Grand Ethiopian Reconnaissance Dam that had been constructed. All right, you can see that this is the main dam as well as there is reservoir. This is where the GERD or the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam had been constructed. Now, when it comes to the complete dam, so this is the height is about 145 of the meter and it is located in Ethiopia. Again, a very important place that had been in news. Now, coming to the next important place is Sundarbans, which is there between India and Bangladesh. They are the mangroves which are located where we have Ganga, Brahmaputra as well as Meghna river. They they meet or they merge with Bay of Bengal. So they are the world's largest mangrove forest delta at the confluence of Ganges along with Ganga river. There is Brahmaputra and Meghna river, and in late 2025, the Sundarbans, they have received the international blue flag certification. Now, this is for the environmental conservation as well as sustainable beach management, and this highlights the efforts to mitigate the sea level rise as well. The Sundarban is also the UNESCO heritage site. This is the region where you will find the Royal Bengal tiger, and even the Irrawaddy dolphins are found in the Sundarbans. Alright, the next important news, or the place that had been in news, is Atacama Salt Flat, which is there in Chile. Now, these region or Atacama Salt Flat is basically a high altitude plateau that is located in the Andes of North Chile, and they are the part of the lithium triangle that is there. Now, it is very important because lithium is very important for the EV revolution or electronic or electric vehicle revolution. The lithium triangle, it comprises of Chile, Argentina and Bolivia. Now, in 2026, there was a study, and this has revealed that the salt flat, it is sinking by 1 to 2 centimeter annually, and this is because of the excessive extraction of the lithium. All right, excessive groundwater extraction is there for the lithium mining, and that is resulting into the sinking of Atacama Salt Flat. All right, this has prompted the calls for the ecocide to be recognized as the international law, and thereby this place had been in news. So you can see where we have the Atacama Desert. This is where we have the Atacama Desert, and in Atacama you will find that this region, it is the Atacama Salt Flat enriched, or there are the reserves of the lithium which are found in this complete region, and it is sinking because of the excessive extraction of the groundwater for lithium purpose. Now, coming to the next important place is Suwaida, that is there in Syria. Now, Suwaida is basically a city that is located in southern Syria on the Hauran Plateau. On the Hauran Plateau that is there, it is near the tri-junction of Jordan, Israel as well as Syria. So, it is near the tri-junction. Now, this is known as Little Venezuela as well. And when it comes to the community that is over here is Druze community. Now, they are facing the ethnic cleansing by the Bedouin militias that is over here in the early 2026, and that have highlighted the splintering of the Syrian civil war as well. Their strategic position as well, again when it comes to the complete Suwaida, it is a place of strategic importance because it is near the Golan Heights as well as Jabal al-Druze volcanic fields as well. So over here you can see where we have Suwaida. This is Suwaida or Suwaida, and you can see this is at the tri-junction, and this is located in Syria. Now, coming to the next important news, it is again over here, you can see it is Pokrovsk. Now, Pokrovsk is basically located in Ukraine. Now, why Pokrovsk was Pokrovsk is basically a major industrial center and even the logistics hub that is there in Donetsk region. Now, when it comes to the Russian forces, they have captured Pokrovsk in early 2026, and they have taken the complete control of the Ukraine's only coking coal mine that is located over here in Pokrovsk. It serves as the primary supply route for the Ukrainian fortress belt as well, and there is a proximity to the Donbas coal mines, and even there is Sel river that flows through this region. Again, this is all very important. Alright, so you can see this Pokrovsk region. This is basically the Russian controlled territory you will find over here, and we have over here Pokrovsk that had been taken control, or the control had been taken over by the Russian army. Alright, the next important place is the port of Duqm. The port of Duqm is located in Oman and on the east coast or the southeast coast of Oman, and this opens directly to the Arabian Sea. Now, this has been targeted by the Iranian drone strikes in 2026 that we have seen, and also there is the India. Alright, now why this is important? Because India had heavily invested in this region for the deep water port so that it can secure alternative energy route and the maritime domain awareness as well. Now, this port is very close to the Strait of Hormuz as well, and also Al Gufayat, that is the land link for the IMEC corridor or India, Middle East and European corridor that is there. So, this is where we have the port of Duqm that is here. Alright, you can see that this opens directly to the Arabian Sea. It bypasses the Strait of Hormuz, And again, this is very important because UPSC can connect this and it can ask the statement and it can give you the statement that Port of Duqm is located in the Gulf of Oman. So it is not in the Gulf of Oman, it opens directly towards the Arabian Sea. Alright, and there is Salalah, Port of Salalah as well. Alright, so again this is the AMEC corridor, that is India, Middle East, Europe corridor that is there. You can see that it will connect Mundra and Mumbai to the Fujairah, the port that is here. Alright, and also through this there will be the land route that will connect the Jabal Ali, it will connect Khalifa, these are the ports which are located, and then Al Gufayat. Then it will connect to the Harad, there is Jubail and Dawam as well, these are the ports, and also Ras Al Khar. These will get connected to Riyadh and Al Zabira, and then it will get connected to Al Haditha, then to Mafraq, even Beit Shean, and also there will be the ports, these are the important ports, Haifa and Ashdod, which are located, and then this will get connected to the Europe, that is to Piraeus, to Thessaloniki, and even Trieste and Marseille port that is located. And this is again very important route when it comes to the trade between India and Europe. Now, the next important place that had been in news is Malacca Strait. Now, this is very important. Again, it is a choke point that is there, and it is a 900 kilometer long narrow waterway that lies between the Malay Peninsula and the Indonesian island of Sumatra. Now, when it comes to Malacca Strait, basically with the Strait of Hormuz that had been blockaded, now the complete global attention is there on the Strait of Malacca, and ultimately this is the world's busiest oil transit choke point that handles 23.2 million barrels per day in 2025. Now, there is Malacca dilemma as well. Alright, when it comes to China, China is also dependent upon the import of oil and the natural gas. Alright, and most of the import that happens for the China, that is through the Strait of Malacca. And if the Malacca had been choked, just like that we have seen in the case of the Strait of Hormuz, which had been blockaded, if the Malacca will also be blockaded, so that will be a death to China as well. So again, this is the dilemma, or the Malacca dilemma, that is for China. And here you can see the Malacca Strait that is there. Here we have the Strait of Malacca, alright, and also Sunda Strait that lies. Strait of Malacca, it connects the South China Sea to the Arabian Sea, and over here you will see that Sunda Strait, it connects Java Sea to the Indian Ocean as well. There is Lombok Strait as well that you can see on the map. This is the Strait of Malacca or Malacca Strait. This is the main strait. Along with this, the main strait, there is the another channel that is there. This is called as Singapore Channel as well. You can see that it circumvents the complete Singapore that is located here. Alright. Now, coming to the next important place that had been in news, it is the Goma and Bukavu. Now, Goma and Bukavu, they are located in Democratic Republic of Congo, and these are the cities which lies in the eastern part of DRC or Democratic Republic of Congo, near the borders where it is near Rwanda and Uganda as well. Over here, M23 rebels, they have captured Goma in the late 2025, and they have expanded their control over the mineral-rich North as well as South Kivu provinces, and that is why this region or this place had been in news. Now, the complete region, there are vast resources for various minerals like, for example, cobalt and gold, and that is again a very important mineral-rich region that is under the M23 rebels that is there. So, this is where we have the both of them. Alright, there is Goma as well as Bukavu. Alright, this is in Democratic Republic of Congo, again mineral-rich, very close to Rwanda. You can see, and with Uganda as well. Now, this complete region lies in the in the Rift Valley system that is there for the Africa. All right, this is the complete Rift Valley system that is there, and here you can see that there is South Kivu that is located, and there is North Kivu as well. All right, so you can see that this is Rwanda. There is Lake Kivu that is located here. Again, you can see that this is the complete Democratic Republic of Congo. Lake Kivu, it lies with Rwanda as well as with Democratic Republic of Congo as well. All right, coming to the next important place that had been in news, it is the Great Salt Lake. Now, when it comes to the Great Salt Lake, again, it is very important. This lies in USA and this is an endorheic lake. This is an endorheic lake that is in the Utah in USA and also the largest saltwater lake that is there in the Western Hemisphere. Now, in early 2026, the scientists, they have discovered that there is massive freshwater reservoir in the Great Salt Lake hidden beneath the lake's hypersaline water. So, in the upper part, there is the salt water and beneath it, there is a fresh water that offers potential solution to the region's severe water scarcity that is there. So, this is Great Salt Lake located in Utah. And again, a very important discovery had been made where the upper part of the water in the lake, it is hypersaline, but beneath it, there is the fresh water which had been found. All right, now again over here, there is the endorheic lakes. They had been asked in the examination, and we have Aral Sea as well, which is there in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, lies between both of them. There is Lake Urmia that is there in Iran, and also Great Salt Lake that is there in Utah in USA. Now over here, these of the lakes, they are facing the ecological decline, which is because of the upstream water diversion for the agriculture, and the UPSC may ask about the location of these lakes as well. Now coming to the next important place that had been in news is the Pamban Bridge. Now when it comes to the Pamban Bridge, it is very important because it is the new vertical lift bridge that had been constructed over here. This is a railway bridge which connects the Mandapam town. There is Mandapam town in the mainland and there is Rameshwaram that is there on the Pamban island. So this bridge, it connects Mandapam with Rameshwaram. This is the India's first, please remember, it is the first vertical lift railway sea bridge that had been completed in late 2025, and it is 3 meters higher than the earlier structure of 1914, and it has been designed so that larger vessels, they can also pass underneath the bridge. There is the proximity of this bridge to the Gulf of Mannar Marina Biosphere Reserve and Adams Bridge or Ram Setu as well. Alright, so this is Pamban Bridge over here. Pamban Bridge is located. Alright, and you can see that this is vertical lift bridge that had been constructed which connects the mainland to the Pamban or the Dhanush Kodi or the Ram Setu that is there. Now coming to the next important news, it is the place, it is the Tapajós river that is there in Brazil. Now when it comes to this river, it is a major tributary of Amazon river. Please remember, it is major tributary of Amazon river. It flows entirely within Brazil through the Mato Grosso as well as Pará states which are located in Brazil. Now this river has hit the historical lows in late 2025 because of the mega drought leading to the declaration of the first ever water scarcity emergency in its lower stretches, and that is why this river had been in news. Again, this is a prominent tributary of the Amazon river. This is Tapajós river, and again Amazon and its tributaries becomes important for your upcoming UPSC prelims. Now coming to the next important place, it is Mount Etna that is there in Sicily. Now when it comes to Mount Etna, it is active strato volcano that is there on the east coast of Sicily in Italy, and it is the Europe's highest as well as the most active volcano that is located in the region. There had been constant eruptions in 2025-26 that have underscored the tectonic activity at the convergence of the Eurasian and the African plate, and that is why this had been in news. Again, very important because when it comes to the volcanoes which are over here, you can see that there is Mount Etna that is located there, Stromboli as well, which is called as the lighthouse of the Mediterranean Sea. Then there is volcano, there is Panaria volcano as well. You can see that there is Mare di Sicilia volcano that is located, Vesuvius as well, and Campi Flegrei volcano that is located in this region. Now this complete volcanic belt is because of the merging or convergence of the Eurasian as well as the African plate. Now, when it comes to the volcanoes, UPSC has the tendency to ask about the volcanoes where we have seen the recent eruptions. So, these are the volcanoes where we have the recent eruptions. We have Kikai, that is located in Japan. Then we have Home Reef in Tonga. Then Embe in Vanuatu. Then we have Haile Gubbi in Ethiopia. Purace in Colombia. Then we have Planchon Petaroa volcano in Chile. Then Ahi, that is they located in US. Then Akan volcano is in Japan. Then Sabancaya in Peru. Ayoto in Japan. In New Zealand, there is White Island or Wakari volcano which is located. Along with this, we have in Indonesia, Dempo. Then in Russia, we have Krashenikov volcano, and Barren Island is there in India. Along with these, we have the other important volcanic eruptions in 2025 and 26. You can see we have Reykjanes in Iceland, Telisia in Nicaragua. We have Krishnmayama, that is located in Japan again. There is Karimsky, that is in Russia. Northern EPR is the undersea feature. Then we have Bulusan in Philippines. We have Klyushkoi, that is in Russia. Then Reykjanes again in Iceland. And also Ulavun, that is in Papua New Guinea. Then Raung, that is in Indonesia. Atka volcanic complex in US, and Purace in Colombia, and Livatolok in Indonesia, and Telisia, that is there in Indonesia. Again, UPSC generally asks the questions from these volcanoes which had seen the recent eruptions in the form of match the following. So you may get the match the following. There could be 4 of the volcanoes and the country of the origin that could be asked in match the following in your upcoming Prelims 2026. Alright, these are the major volcanoes that you can see on the world map. Alright, these are the major volcanoes which are located. Again, you can see this in the complete PDF. The PDF will be uploaded on my Telegram channel. So do not forget to join my Telegram channel as well. Alright, the Telegram channel is located, or you can find it at @BHANWAR_StudyIQ. Alright, the next of the important place that had been in news is Bosphorus Strait. Now the Bosphorus Strait, there is the Montreux tension, and the Bosphorus Strait is the part of the Turkish straits that are there. The narrow strait that lies in Turkey, it connects Black Sea with the Sea of Marmara. Please remember, it connects Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, and Turkey have strictly enforced the 1936 Montreux Convention during the Black Sea naval tensions in 2025. And ultimately, it has controlled the passage of the warships, and this has impacted NATO's eastern flank as well. Now, this Bosphorus Strait, it divides Turkey, or it is there in Turkey, which divides Istanbul into European and Asian sides. In 1936, Montreux Convention was made regarding the regime of the straits in the international agreement, and that had granted Turkey the complete control over the Bosphorus as well as Dardanelles Strait that is located in the region. Now, please remember that this is Montreux Convention. This is different. Please remember, Montreux Convention as compared to Montreux Record. Alright, when it comes to Montreux Record, you could be asked about it as well. Or you could be asked about the difference between Montreux Convention and the Montreux Record. Now, Montreux Record is the part of the Ramsar Convention. Or the wetlands which are facing severe threat, they are basically placed in the Montreux Record. So please remember that both of them, they are different. Montreux Convention is different. Montreux Record is also different. Again, important for your upcoming prelims. And here you can see the Turkish Strait. There is Strait of Bosphorus or Bosphorus Strait. This connects over here. There is a Black Sea and Sea of Marmara. Alright. And then we have the Dardanelles Strait that is there. It connects Sea of Marmara to the Aegean Sea or to the Mediterranean Sea. Here we have Mediterranean Sea. Aegean Sea is part of Mediterranean Sea. So this connects, or the Dardanelles Strait, it connects Sea of Marmara with the Mediterranean Sea that is here. Alright, next important place that had been in news is the Arkawa and the Potomac. Now, Arkawa and Potomac, they have been declared as the sister rivers. Alright, Arkawa is basically, it originates from the Mount Kobushi that is there in Japan, and it flows into Tokyo Bay. Alright, Tokyo, and it flows very close to Tokyo, or it flows into the Tokyo as well. So again, the river that is flowing in Tokyo is basically Arakawa. Then we have Potomac as well. This flows in the eastern US and flows into the Chesapeake Bay that is located. Again, Potomac is the river that flows through Washington DC. Alright, so Potomac is the river that is flowing through the capital of USA, that is Washington, and Arakawa is the river that is flowing through the capital of Japan, that is Tokyo. Now, Arakawa has been designated as the sister river of Potomac in 2025, focusing upon the urban river management and the flood control cooperation between both the countries. So over here you can see both the rivers. We have the Arakawa river. Alright, you can see that this is the Arakawa river and it flows into the Tokyo Bay. Then when it comes to the Potomac river, you can see this is the Potomac river and it flows into the Chesapeake Bay that is located over here. And it flows, the Potomac river, it flows through the Washington DC as well. Now coming to the next important place which had been in news is Great Ruaha River that is there in Tanzania. Now again, this river it is one of the Tanzania's major rivers which flows through the Ruaha National Park, and this river is reported to be drying up completely in the segments because of the climate change and mismanagement as well. And this threatens the complete biodiversity of the national park that is located here, along with the Usangu wetlands which are here. Now when it comes to Ruaha, so this is basically a tributary to the Rufiji River that flows through the region. Alright, you can see over here that this is when it comes to Great Ruaha River, this is the Great Ruaha River that is here. And you can see that it is flowing through the Ruaha National Park and it is the tributary to the major river that is over here. Alright, that is Rufiji River. Now coming to the next important place that had been in news is Lake Nyasa that is in Malawi. Now Lake Nyasa that is in Malawi is the southernmost lake of the eastern African Rift system. It borders Malawi. Along with Malawi, it borders with Tanzania and Mozambique as well. Now there are certain border disputes which are ongoing between the Tanzania and Malawi over the lake's resources. They were exacerbated by the 2025 climate-induced water level fluctuations in this particular lake or lake, Lake Nyasa. Now, when it comes to the Lake Nyasa, it is meromictic lake. It is meromictic lake, that is a rare type of the lake that does not undergo complete vertical mixing of the water, and that results into the separate layers that are formed. There is no vertical mixing of the water in these lakes, and these lakes are called as meromictic lake. And also when it comes to Lake Nyasa, it is the 9th largest lake in the world, and in Africa it is the 3rd largest of the lake that is there. And this is over here, you can see Lake Nyasa. Alright, this is Lake Nyasa. You can see Malawi, you can see Tanzania, Mozambique. So these are the border states which are located along the Lake Nyasa as well. Now coming to the next important place that had been in news is Senkaku and Diaoyu Islands. Now one of the important and the very favorite topic of the UPSC is the South China Sea. So when it comes to Senkaku and Diaoyu Islands, they are the inhabited islands which are located in the East China Sea that is northeast of the Taiwan, and there have been repeated incursion by Chinese vessels in 2025-26 that have led to a reinforcement of the US-Japan Security Treaty application to these islands, and that is why they had been in news. Again, very important, and these are the over here you can see when it comes to the disputed Senkaku and the Diaoyu Islands, they are located here north of Taiwan. Alright, we have over here you can see that the distance that they have. So again you can see that it is just 330 kilometers to Wenzhou. From the Taipei it is 170 kilometers, and these are basically the islands which are called as the Senkaku Island by Japan. These islands are named as Diaoyu by the China, and by the ROC or the Republic, the ROC, it is called as Diaoyu Island as well. Alright, the next important place that had been in news is basically the Chagos Archipelago as well as Diego Garcia. Now, very important because this is located in India, Indian Ocean, and basically they are a group of 7 atolls which are there in the Central Ocean, Indian Ocean, approximately about 500 kilometers south of the Maldives. Now, in 2026, UK have paused the bill to return the islands to Mauritius. And this is because of the US concerns over the strategic importance of the Diego Garcia military base, and that is why although UK was thinking of returning these islands to Mauritius, but now they have paused the bill to return the islands back. So this is where we have Diego Garcia base that is located. All right, and this is the complete Chagos archipelago that is there in the Indian Ocean. You can see that they are close to Maldives, which are there, close to Mauritius, as well as Seychelles as well, which lies in the region in the Indian Ocean itself. All right. So over here you can see that this is the British Indian Ocean Territory, or BIOT. Now this British Indian Ocean Territory, or BIOT, is controlled by UK, and this is where we have the Chagos archipelago. All right, you can see that this is Chagos archipelago that lies over here, and this is where we have the Diego Garcia. All right, we have the Diego Garcia as well, and this is where we have the different islands which are located. We have Solomon Islands, we have Nelson Island, Three Brothers Island as well, Eagle Island, Danger Island, Egmont Island, and here you will find Diego Garcia that is located. Now, another important place that had been in news is the Luzon Strait. Now, Luzon Strait is again very important because it is a strait that lies between Taiwan and Luzon, that is in Philippines. Now, it connects the South China Sea with the Philippine Sea, and it is important because it became a critical typhoons hotspot in the late 2025, and also it is a major hub for the international submarine cables as well. So basically this makes this complete Luzon Strait kind of a digital choke point, where if the submarine cables they would be cut, so that will impact the global internet as well. All right, and it also contains the Batanes as well as Babuyan Islands, which are located in the region. So you can see over here that this is Bashi Channel. This is Bashi Channel. Then we have over here the Luzon Strait, which lies between the Taiwan and Philippines. Over here, these are called as the Batane or Batanes Island. These islands are basically called Batanes, and we have Babuyan Island as well, which are located here. So these Batanes and the Babuyan, they are the islands of Philippines. Now coming to the next important news, that the place that had been in news is the Otranto Strait. Now when it comes to Otranto Strait, it is a strait that connects the Adriatic Sea along with the Ionian Sea that is there. Alright, so basically it separates Italy from Albania, and it was identified in 2026 as a key naval route for the NATO southern flank and a major migration route from the Balkans into Italy. So this is again important strait that you can see over here. This is the Strait of Otranto. Alright, you can see Ionian Sea and Adriatic Sea. Alright. Next important place that had been in news is Torkham crossing. Now again, it had been in news, and again very important for the UPSC because it is a transit point that lies on the Durand line between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and there had been frequent closure in 2025-26 because of the border clashes that have disrupted the trade between or along the historical Grand Trunk Road. So this is a part of Grand Trunk Road as well, and it has impacted the Central Asian supply chains. This Torkham crossing, basically it connects the Jalalabad with the Peshawar and the Khyber Pass region as well. So this is where we have the we have Jalalabad. Along with this we have Peshawar or Pakistan, and here you can see Torkham crossing is there. Alright, so Torkham border or crossing, it lies on the Durand line and between the Pakistan and Afghanistan. Next important place that had been in news is the Petra and Ellora. Now when it comes to Petra and Ellora, they have been declared as the twin heritage. The Petra is located in Jordan in the Arava Valley, and Ellora caves, they are there in India in Maharashtra. In 2025, UNESCO have officially recognized them as the twin World Heritage sites to promote the cultural tourism as well as the architectural research linkage between both the different sites. Now when it comes to Petras, it is location is between the Dead Sea as well as the Gulf of Aqaba, and Ellora is where we have the 34 caves which which are related to the Hindu, Buddhist as well as the Jain religion that is there. Alright, so over here you can see that here we have Petra, that is here in Jordan. Alright, these are the Petra caves which are there, and then we have the Ellora caves as well, which are located in India itself, in Maharashtra. The next important place that had been in news is Fukushima seafood resumption. Now Fukushima is where we had a major nuclear disaster. So these are, or the Fukushima is located on Honshu Island, which is in the Japan and in the Tohoku region. Now China have resumed the seafood consumption or the imports from the Japan in early 2026 after they had been banned following the discharge of the treated radioactive water from the Fukushima Daiichi plant, and thereby this is in the news. The Fukushima region is in news. So over here you can see that this is Fukushima that is located, and also it is very important to note that these are the major islands that combinedly they makes up the Japan. Again, UPSC have asked about it. Alright, so we have Hokkaido along with this Honshu, Shikoku and Kyushu. These are the 4 major islands of Japan. Next important place that is in news is Mount Taranaki. The Mount Taranaki is basically an active stratovolcano that is there on the North Island of New Zealand. In late 2025, the New Zealand government, it had granted the unique cultural rights to the local Maori tribes which are there for the management of the mountain, and also acknowledged the Maori tribe as the ancestor, or acknowledge the status of the mountain as the ancestor of the Maori tribes. Now when it comes to the Mount Taranaki, it is formally, or it was formerly known as Mount Egmont, and it has a symmetrical cone that where you can compare this mountain or the volcano to Mount Fuji or Mount Fujiyama that is located in Japan. Alright, so this is where we have Mount Taranaki in the North Island of New Zealand. Now coming to the next important place that had been news is Tuti Island, which is there in Sudan. Now this island is a crescent shaped island which is located at the confluence of Blue and White Nile in Khartoum. So Blue and White Nile, they are the major rivers which when they combine together they make the Nile River, and ultimately both Blue and the White Nile, they meet at the Khartoum, and it has become the center of the humanitarian catastrophe in 2026 as there was a war that was between the Sudanese army and the RSF that has escalated, and it had blocked all the access routes to the island itself. So this is where you will find that this is the crescent shape island, that is Tuti Island, and there are the 2 rivers. We have White Nile and the Blue Nile. They merge here and then they flow in the northwards direction in the form of the Nile River. Alright, the next one is the Cotonou. Cotonou is in Benin, and it is the largest city as well as the economic capital of Benin in West Africa. Now, there had been a failed military coup that was attempted over here in September 2025, and that has brought this particular region in the news, or the port city into the news, and this has highlighted the fragility of the coastal Sahel region that is there in the complete region. So over here you can see that here we have Benin, and we have over here you can see that Cotonou is located, and it is a port that is located here. Alright, so this is the region, and it is located in Benin region. Now when it comes to the Sahel region, so Sahel region had also been asked by the UPSC. Again, it is very important, you have to see that which all countries they lie in the Sahel region. Basically Sahel region, it borders the African, we have the Saharan desert. So just bordering the Saharan region is the Sahel region that lies here, and it includes Mauritania, Senegal as well. There is Mali along with Burkina Faso, Niger and Nigeria. Then there is Chad, Sudan. They are the part of the Sahel region that is there, which borders the Saharan desert. Alright, now coming to the next important place that had been in news is the Socotra Island, which is there in Indian Ocean. Now, Socotra Island had been in news because of the increased militarization and even presence of the UAE-backed forces. There is also the strategic importance to the Red Sea security as well. Now, when it comes to this Socotra Island, it has a unique biodiversity. There is the dragon blood tree which is found in the region, and also it is located very close to Bab al-Mandeb. Again, a very prominent choke point, and again you could be asked about which country does the Socotra Island belongs to. So it belongs to Yemen. Alright, so over here you can see that here we have the Socotra Island. Alright, next important place that had been in news is the Shakshgam Valley in the Karakoram range. Now, Shakshgam Valley is again very important region. Over here, the China had rejected India's claim over the valley, and it has continued the infrastructure development in the region. This is a part of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. When it comes to Shakshgam Valley, it was occupied by Pakistan, but later on it was ceded by Pakistan to China in 1963. Strategically, this is very important point because it overlooks the Siachen Glacier, and you can see over here the complete region. Alright, over here this is the Jammu and Kashmir. This region is the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. This is Pakistan occupied Kashmir that is there. Then this complete region is Gilgit-Baltistan. Again, this is controlled by Pakistan, but again this is the part of Jammu and Kashmir, and we have the complete stake in this region. Then Shakshgam Valley was also, it was earlier occupied by the Pakistan, but then it was ceded to China by the Pakistan. Again, this Siachen, this was this was actually captured by the China during the Indo-China War or Sino-Indian War in 1962. Here you can see that this region is where we have the Siachen Glacier. Alright, this is the region of Siachen Glacier. So you can see the strategic point where we have Shakshgam Valley, which overlooks the Siachen Glacier. And Siachen Glacier is located at the tri-junction where we can look for the China, for the Pakistan and India as well. Now coming to the next important place, it is Lake Natron that is there in Tanzania. There had been stunning satellite images of the blood red color that went viral for this lake. So Lake Natron is again very important, and it had been in news because over here what had happened was that there were the environmental changes due to the volcanic activity, and that led to the blood red color of this particular lake. Now the complete lake, Lake Natron, is an alkaline lake with high pH, and it is also deadly to many of the animals, but it is the breeding ground for the lesser flamingos. And again, this is important news or the place for your UPSC. Alright, so over here you can see that here we have the Lake Natron that lies. Now, the next important place is the Pasni port of Pakistan. Now, when it comes to the Pasni port, so there had been the revitalization efforts by the China as the part of CPEC phase 2, and this is located on the Makran coast, and it is also often compared to the Gwadar and the Chabar port as well. So you can see over here that this is the Pasni port. You can see Pasni. Again, here we have Karachi, there is Gwadar port. These ports are of Pakistan, and this is Chabar port. Again, you could be asked about the sequence from west to east. So again, you have to remember the sequence of Chabar, Pasni, Gwadar and Karachi port. So it is Chabar, then Gwadar, then Pasni and Karachi. Now, the next important place is the Jeju Island, which is there in South Korea, and there had been disputes over the installation of the new missile defense radar here. Here, when it comes to the Jeju Island, basically they have a strategic location because they are located in Korean Strait, that is just midway between Japan as well as China and the Korean Peninsula, and that is why there was the dispute about the installation of the radar. So you can see over here, when it comes to the Jeju Island, this is where we have the Jeju Island that is located. It is very close to Japan, to Korea, as well as towards the China as well. So this is Jeju Island. Again, they were there in the news. Now coming to the next important place, it is the Priya Vihar temple that is located in Cambodia-Thailand border. Alright, now when it comes to Priya Vihar temple, it had been renewed. There had been renewed administrative friction because of the tourism management at the border, and this temple is the 11th century Hindu temple which is dedicated to Lord Shiva and or the god Shiva, and it had been subject of the long-standing ICJ ruling as well. So you can see where we have Priya Vihar temple. Alright, so when it comes to Priya Vihar temple, it is just at the border of Cambodia and Thailand. This is where we have Priya Vihar temple. At the same time, if you'll see over here, so it is, when it comes to this Priya Vihar temple, so it is located, here we have Nom Dangrek range as well. So it is located in the Dangrek range, that is of Thailand, and again it is at the border of Thailand and Cambodia. Now the next important place is basically Tillaberi and Tahaua, that is there in Niger. Now these two important places are basically, they were in the news because of the major insurgent attacks in the tri-border region of the Sahel, and they are part of the Liptako-Gourma region, where we have Mali, we have Niger and Burkina Faso, they meet. So Liptako-Gourma region is also very important because it is at the tri-junction of the three of the states which are there. Alright, so over here you can see that here we have Tohau that is located, and we have Tillaberi as well, and again these are very important places. Alright, so these are the important places which had been in news or between 2025 to 2026 from May to May. Alright, these are the places from where you will find the question that will be there in your UPSC prelims. So again, these places are very important to revise, and also please do not forget to join my Telegram where you will find the complete PDF of today's session. At the same time, I will be starting off with the public administration optional for the 2027 and 2028. So if you are preparing and looking for a better optional for 2027 and 28, so you can enroll into the classes, and the batches will be starting from the 15th of May. And you can use the code that is BRS Live for the maximum discount. And also today is the last day. Today the enrollment or the admission in the batch that is Resolution P2I, the GS Foundation batch, it is closing. So again, you can enroll into the courses for the 2027 and 2028 for the foundation batch, that is GS Foundation Resolution P2I batch, and again you can use the code that is the BRS Live for the maximum discount. Now that will be all in this today's session. I hope that now you have a complete understanding of the important places which were there in the news from May 2025 to 2026. I will see you in the another video or the live session where we'll be discussing. Tomorrow we'll be going forward and we'll be doing the complete current affairs marathon where I'll be discussing various questions that could be asked in your upcoming prelims. Alright, so again I'll be coming forward, and tomorrow we'll be doing the complete session for the current affairs questions, but at the same time we will keep moving ahead and we'll be revising the complete current affairs in the series as well. So that would be all. Thank you very much guys for joining me over here on the platform of StudyIQIAS. I will see you in the next. So till then, please do take care of yourself, and also do not forget to like, share and even subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss any of the important updates. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care and Jai Hind.